Well, we made an interesting decision concerning taking these cabinets down and the counters and redoing this little kitchen area in the condo. But I'm really not going to talk about that on this particular episode. I'll talk about that in an upcoming episode as to what we're going to install down in the flooring, the different thoughts and processes that we came across to pick out our carpet color and our vinyl planking that's going to be installed in this area, along in the kitchen, the bathroom, the hallway, closet, and this whole front area. Yeah, we're going to do that. But right now, what is my project today? Has to do with this right here. We're going to I'm going to show you how to remove some tack strip. And here's our tack strip going all along here. Now, if this area was going to be left with carpet and pad, you know, you taking out the old carpet and pad and reinstalling it, you probably don't have to do anything to it. I would leave it alone, take a look at it, see if there's any soiled areas where cats or dogs have pissed up along the wall or something, or along the carpet, and you see if your tack strip is moist or something, and you're going to know that that's a urine bit and damage. And then if I was you, I would take those. That would be a must to take that up, treat your subfloor area, take up all of the surrounding tack strip, and then when someone comes in and installs your new carpet, they can bring out some new tack strip. But the reason why I'm going to take this tack strip out, if you heard me correct, yes, this was the existing floor coming into the condo, and then this area had carpet and pad. Look at all this. This isn't just from here. I took the carpet and pad out upstairs too, and I cut it in small enough pieces and little rolls to where we're at a condo complex, and I'm going to throw it in the dumpster. And I'm not throwing it all in at one time, pissing off anybody. I'm throwing in 4 or 5 pieces at a time, and then checking it each morning to see when the dumpster gets dumped so that I can throw some more in there. Don't overextend your stay and get anybody ticked off at you, right? But anyways, I've got to take the tack strip out because this floor is coming up. We're not going to put carpet in there anymore. We're going to use a vinyl flooring, and this is the stuff that we've ordered, and it's actually 16 by 32, 16 inches wide. Here's a joint right here, a little bit wider than normal. We did like this as a second choice. This is like 8-inch, 7 by 45 inch. See, you can see where the grooved sections are right there. That was our second choice. It's always good to go with a couple different choices in case you get somewhere and they say, oh, bad news, it's back ordered. And it'd be nice if you pick something else out. So have a second choice on the ready. We'll talk about that later. But anyways, that's why I'm going to remove this baseboard or this tack strip, and I'm just going to show you 3 different ways to take this tack strip out. Okay, I'm going to use just the longer shovel. This is just a short shovel. If you had a longer one, fine, but this one should work. And the tack strip is nailed every so often to the floor. Just look and see where the nails are. There we go. Now this is a wood subfloor, and so that came up pretty easy, didn't it? That came up pretty easy. And now if you have concrete subfloor, you can take it out the same way with a sharp pointed shovel. Now if you don't have one like that, you got a small one. Let's try the small one, see how that works. If I just had the small one, I could do it. Yeah, of course I could do it. I'm just going to get down here on my hands and knees. little shovel will work. Let's see if I can do it just standing up. This would be a backbreaker. A little bit of effort, and you're good to go. But I would prefer a shovel at least this long. At least this long. And most people don't have, you know, a shovel like this. I got a longer one. And that works out the best, actually. Although this has a handle. And so if you're going to be doing this for an entire house, I think I would prefer this handle. You know, because it's not gonna dig into the palm of your hand like a regular shovel would after a while. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's say you don't have that. You just got the trusty flat bar. Okay. Can we take it out with the flat bar? Yeah, of course we can. I'm sure we can. I always bring my knee pad because I never know when I'm going to use it. And I got a back support brace on underneath my nail bag, my knee pad or my knee brace on. Hey, I take no chances. It's going to take you a little bit more effort with that, but this is like the roofing one for asphalt shingles and stuff. See how it dips down like that? That way you can get under there and use that as a pry bar, hit on top of that, kaboom, doink. Or you can use it that way. If you got a stubborn one, obviously, you can just do it this way and hit it. However you want to do it. Okay? You don't have to pay somebody else to remove your carpet tack strip. I'm gonna sit here and get the rest of this with the bigger shovel, I think. Get that right up against that sliding glass door unit so I can check all that out, so that if I have to do any floor prep before the guys come here for the vinyl floor, I can. Be careful with the tack strip, because you've got all the nails. They're going up this way at an angle, and then you grab onto that. You just have to be gingerly lifting that. So I got just rubber gloves on, and Momi brought some heavier gloves. You know, I might even use those when I'm picking this stuff up, or not. Maybe not. And you just have to be careful when you're walking around this stuff, because now I got all the nails facing up, the ones that I pulled out. Because obviously these are the nails that nailed it down. And then you've got all of the angled nails up on the surface of this, and that's what holds your carpet in. See, it's like that. Or actually up against the wall. Is there a right and wrong way to install this? Of course there is. You got to have all the nails, see, like that, facing that direction. So when you stretch the carpet, those nails are what grabs it to keep the carpet from stretching back. Okay, so much for that. Get the rest of it after I move the carpet and the pad. And I saved just a little bit of that carpet and pad, just little, a few small rolls of the carpet. It was still in really good shape. And I've got it up in storage, way up high now. And every now and again, if I need a floor mat, a foot mat, like a mat coming in from your garage into the house, or if you got some concrete stairs in your garage coming into the house, I'm going to cut some carpet and put it on those stairs, or going out into the garage. If there's no step, maybe I just have it there as a floor mat. Okay, maybe I can make a nice one depending on the outside. She'll probably put some sort of rug out there or something, but I might take some of that and cut it and make a nice little floor mat, you know, outside. And then after it gets all beat up, hey, no problem. I got some more floor mat material up in storage. I saved about, I don't know, little rolls like this, 4 or 5 of them. Never know when I'm gonna need it, right? And here I've got my trusty IKEA bag that we bought from IKEA, IKEA. That furniture store, okay? I just use that to carry all my stuff back and forth to the dumpster. And I'm just gonna throw this stuff in there. And this stuff breaks up real easy, okay? I just snap it. And I can be careful with the nails and put it in here. And I can take it out to the dumpster. No problem. Of course, I probably wouldn't use a bag like this if I had a construction container on the job site, let's say. But then again, maybe I would. Who knows? I probably have a wheelbarrow and do it that way, you know, but I do what I can with what I got, right? Okay, there, and I can carry it out. It's got small handles and big handles. I can put that over my shoulder, whatever, carry it out there. And I try to be as careful with this as I can, so I don't get any rips in it or nail holes sticking through it. It's really a good thing. Next time you see an IKEA store, maybe go in just to get that. They used to sell those, that bag, when we went one time, we had like 4 bags because we bought all kinds of stuff. Mommy bought all kinds of stuff. And I thought, hey, I'll just save those bags. So I folded them all up, put them in the garage on a storage shelf, and I've been using this one as my construction one, and I still got like 3 bags all nicely folded up. And so they don't take up much room, and just get one at IKEA. The other thing I got at IKEA for $1 is a long shoehorn. So I put my shoes on each morning. I just reach down there, grab it with my shoehorn, pull it out, put my shoe on, and that way I never have to untie my shoes. See these shoes? These shoes, I've had them for a long time now, and I've probably had to tie them in a bow, maybe less than 10 times overall. Maybe 5, maybe only 5 times, because I use my shoehorn from IKEA. and it cost me like 99 cents. That was probably 4 years ago. Maybe they're $1.50 now, but anyway, hey, that's how I'm taking care of my tack strip, and that's how you can do it too. Hey, save the money. Take your carpet out on your own, take your carpet pad out on your own, and take your tack strip out. And I've got some squeaks on the floor. I'll show that on another video. Watch for it on these episodes. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.